Oh, look at the very tolerant and peaceful, liberal, democratic, woke grandma. Your blood libel. As some people are saying, the left is in a death cult, but and hijacked by demonic evil forces out there, but we're cohabitating and living together. How will that kind of evolve here as there's some major decisions being made right now, especially when it comes to National Guard troop movements that are being challenged in official court of laws, that this administration is like, yeah, we're just not going to, you say what you want, we'll do what we want. As the left has been operating in this type of way for an extremely long time, as the big clashes and confrontations and arrests of right-wing influencers are still continuing in places like Portland, Oregon. As Chicago has declared with their governor and mayor, we are not going to be aiding and abetting the federal government, as the mayor there even declared how we are very close towards a civil war. And I think in historical context, I think a lot of people fail to forget the kind of gravitas of this particular moment, how crazy it is, especially with everything that happened with Charlie Kirk. As overwhelmingly, the left is like, yeah, whatever. We'll become more unhinged, more insane, more violent, because, why not? As the time for discussion, it's over, and now there's a lot of action. We're going to be talking about that action from an honest, critical point of view. And if you appreciate those type of conversations that are not that easy to have, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the people that are a part of this independent media organization. Now, there's crazy confrontations happening right now at major ICE facilities in Chicago, in Portland, in democratically elected stronghold areas where local leadership has appointed police leadership that are clearly on the side of the leftist and liberals. And I think that's an argument to be made here in Oregon, as, of course, more right-wing people are continuing to get arrested, and only our federal authorities actually coming in here that I'm seeing personally online. And again, what we're seeing online isn't always a perfect reflection of what's really kind of happening in this world here. But what I'm seeing happening is that only the federal forces are actually going after a lot of the more kind of egregious actions made against them, as local police are kind of standing by, and then there's right-wingers running for them for help, like, they pick me up. Like, sir, come with us. You're under investigation. You're under arrest. What? As police officers are order followers, and I think a lot of people are realizing what me and individuals like Michael Malice have been talking about for a very long time. As, of course, now we have this situation. The number one story on Reddit, huge buzz, huge kind of blur about it all over social media. I was with Tim yesterday, and Tim was like, oh, my God, look what happened. The left is saying it's a deliberate attack by the right. It looks like it was a propane accident. Do we know exactly what happened here? If there is any type of political motivation or arson or deliberate action here, we, of course, hope that it is fully investigated. The people are held accountable for their egregious actions, but it doesn't look like this, as now a vacation home of a South Carolina judge who criticized the Trump administration and ruled against them some weeks ago was, quote, set ablaze. Now, automatically, the left is like, the right did it! The right did it! No evidence and proof of that, as a lot of people are saying it was a propane buildup. Again, number one story on Reddit. A propane accident, house fire? No, that's not it. It's a number one story because automatically the left is like, they did it! That is not good. As now, a federal judge has just blocked the Trump administration from deploying any National Guard troops in Oregon. What will the Trump administration do? As Stephen Miller, a representative of this Trump administration, came out and said an Oregon judge ruled that the commander-in-chief cannot station federal troops in her state to defend the lives of federal officers. Now, I would argue that the safety of federal officers is something that needs to be taken more seriously than ever since, people started taking shots, sniper fire, multiple violent incidences, multiple attacks, car rammings, multiple interference, multiple doxing, harassment, intimidation campaigns that have been waged by the left against these ICE facilities and against people being deported here. Now, Trump has previously defied previous federal court orders, and he's like, you know what, you guys can rule what you want. I'm just going to keep sending more National Guard troops. And that's exactly what's happening now. So how do we make sense of this all, as now even official court proceedings, official judges, official rules of the state are being ignored here, as this is going to be a major challenge against states' rights, as a lot of these states are harboring illegals, and they're saying, yeah, but we want them for congressional representation. And this is where the argument becomes a little bit more nuanced, right? Because a lot of these states take federal funding, take federal money, have federal representation based off their population. Now, if they harbor people who are not American citizens and are like saying, you can't deport them because we want political representation in our state, we want more federal representation, and they're gaming and ringing the system, when the Fed tries to fix that, the states are like, you can't. That's where you have this kind of clash, a clash of political power that's unfolding right now, and that soon will be determined. Now, who will become the victor of this? Whose judge is going to supersede whatever kind of judge legal action is? Of course, as soon as Trump came into office, legal challenges upon legal challenges have been set to try to dispel and push away a lot of his agenda. Now, Tim Pool had some interesting things to say. We'll tell you what he said Civil War to in response. Before that, and a lot more, and playing more clips here, and the mayor of Chicago declaring, oh yeah, Civil War. We wanted to tell you about thebestpoliticalshirts.com, because what better way to know what side you're on than by wearing a t-shirt. I like the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now that says introverted, but willing to discuss 9/11 conspiracy theories, which you can get exclusively on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. You type in 9, hold on, let me see if this actually comes up. Yeah, you type in 9-11, and bada bing, bada boom. We have the shirt pops up right here. You could get it for as low as $30, and it's a great way to make people laugh, start up conversations, and understand who's really on your side. In major combat, you see the Russians and the Ukrainians all have this like tape around their helmets, around their arms. Why? So there's no accidental casualties here. In this political type of escalatory track that we're on, finding like-minded people is now, I think, more important than ever. It's your way of doing lazy forms of activism. It's your way of finding people who think like you do, something that is priceless, that could help create relationships and bonds that you will cherish for the rest of your life. Thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We got a lot of very cool shirts. Check them all out. Thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Link is down in the description below. Now, let's get back to this crazy, wild story here, as we have Victor Davis Hanson coming out and writing, both Antifa and the appeasing Oregon officials are our new neo-Confederate secessionists. They feel that their states are now autonomous entities that are entitled to federal money, but not obligated to follow federal law. Yep. This is a very interesting article on VictorHanson.com saying, reactionary neo-Confederate Portland. As a lot of these blue cities are implementing their own laws, their own jurisdiction, their own response, their own defense. As Tim Pool highlighted a video made from a GPUSA creator talking about some of the clashes and escalatory kind of things that happen there, and more right-wingers being arrested and hugged and assaulted and pushed and shoved and attacked and having their camera gear kind of destroyed here. And just a total just absolute bedlam and chaos that's deliberately created as police officers come in and like, oh yeah, oh, you're the right-wing guy, jail, local police. And then what did you expect was going to happen here? I've been reporting on this for a while now, especially when it came to bigger type of confrontations that happen between the left and the right. A lot of those confrontations, if they happen in liberal places, the police officers would be like, yeah, those right-wing guys got to go. Those Antifa guys, where? I don't see them. Huh. Wow. We saw specifically at a major young Republican party event in New York City, there was a mutual clash between Antifa and the Proud Boys. Proud Boys stayed around. Cops came. Some of those Proud Boys got 7 to 8 years in jail for fistfights. Mutual combat. Both engaged. Antifa actually started. Proud Boys decided to defend themselves, fight back. In some instances, you can make the argument that both of them started it, and it was only the right-wing guys that got in trouble. Left-wing guys didn't get in trouble. Why? There's a higher chance of police officers being more left-wing. But not just that. When you have political leadership that's left-wing, they put in police captains, police chiefs that are left-wing as well, and that will just implement their agenda, that will follow their orders. And that's exactly what's going on here, as Tim Pool has declared. You're entering an enemy country and attacking its people. Will Chamberlain says, when I say Portland is in an open rebellion against the federal government, this is what I mean. Federal authorities have to board up the federal building because the Portland police wouldn't protect it. Instead of helping, the city of Portland issued the feds a zoning violation. What? Are you kidding me? All right. And then they're like, nope, don't send in the feds. Allow Bedlam. Allow them to attack you. Allow them to stop you from being able to carry your ICE operations so we have better representation in Congress. Right. Now we have the mayor of Chicago. Chicago also has been pushing back against Trump's immigration policies. And he's saying, no, listen, the right wants a rematch of the Civil War. As a lot of people are saying, they're openly kind of declaring a war on the federal government.
To volunteer, to be a part of this collective action. Here's what's most important here. We know that this president is not interested in adhering to the law. So we're going to give him something to hold him accountable. And if he violates the law in the city of Chicago, we will do just that, hold him accountable.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
I know you're going to talk about the Texas Guard, Illinois Guard, but can you give us a little bit about what your next steps could be to fight that?
Well, look, our corporate counsel has been in constant communication with our Attorney General for several months now. And I just wanted to offer this up. A couple of years ago, I said very candidly that the right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War.
Are you kidding me? Really? Right, the right wing. You saw the escalatory check, right? You saw the left wing saying we got to punch everyone that we think might have some affiliation, partly or even somewhat, to this fascistic ideology. And then they started to, of course, go after independent journalists. Right? They took shots at Donald Trump. They took out Charlie Kirk. Right? They're celebrating Luigi Mangione. And now it's the right wing that wants this war. No, the right wing has been very reserved. The right wing has been not the one escalating these conflicts. All right, it's the left. So this type of delusion, like, oh yeah, it's the right. The right wants a war. What? No, they've been the ones that've been showing the most amount of restraint.
I want that to sit in right now because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in
declared war. He wants to make sure that people who are there illegally, especially criminals, are actually deported so their constituents could have better labor pricing, pay, and lower housing costs, which of course happens when you get rid of illegal immigrants. I mean, that's just pretty clear as day. That's what happens.
in giving billions of dollars to other nations.
They just want cheap slave labor.
While farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized.
They're not. They're going to be replaced by robots soon, creating a situation where now this country is going to be heavily burdened by a new group of people that the Democrats let on in without even vetting, questioning. that there's going to be a huge social net, that there's going to be something that's going to have to pay for it somehow magically. This has the purchasing power of the dollars going down. Life is becoming more and more expensive, but they want more of their immigrants for political power. That's selfish. Okay, that's greedy. And that's leading towards an escalatory track of total destabilization financially as well.
And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's through executive order, or whether it's through the brave women and men who are serving as rapid responders, we literally have people who are volunteering in this city on the southwest side, the northwest side, all over this city to make sure that we're protecting children from being separated from their families.
Most of those stories were fake, by the way, and lots of people took advantage of the Democratic open border situation, and they said, if you have a kid, we'll be able to, expedite this. And that's exactly what they did. And a lot of the human trafficking happened because of left-wing immigration. Child trafficking happened because of left-wing immigration policies.
And we're talking about volunteers who are literally putting themselves at risk of being shot and killed by the federal government. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's our continuous struggle for liberation through organizing.
Liberation from what?
And whether it's through
federal funds that you keep receiving?
Executive action, or whether it's through law, it would be nice if we actually had lawmakers in Washington that would actually hold this president accountable. And if they won't do it, then the city of Chicago will, using every single tool that's available to us.
And again, it's like, oh yeah, you're not deporting our people. Tim Pool says, I'm from Chicago, and I applaud Trump's actions. As Governor Pritzker says, this evening, President Trump is ordering 400 members of the Texas National Guard for deployment to Illinois, Oregon, and other locations within the United States. No officials from the federal government called me directly to discuss or coordinate. As people captured, it's like, Trump doesn't negotiate with terrorists. It was very black and white for that guy. Indy Nog says, why would they discuss this with you so you could obstruct? And yes, there has been a major obstruction effort. There has been, Rob, because your fat ass is sitting on your phone. Man. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Violet, you were at the buffet. They realize they don't care what you think. And this is an interesting political cartoon. Newsom, Pritzker, Hochul, New York, Illinois, California, the kind of three-headed Democratic demon dragon. Leave our crime alone. It's not just crime. They understand. They get political power, right? They get to... they get to empower themselves. They get to have more leverage with more illegals in there. Now, the Chicago mayor signing an executive order prohibiting ICE from using any city-owned property will be an interesting type of question about states' rights, about what cities could do here, since obviously we are headed towards a full-on legal confrontation. Hopefully everything becomes legal, but then with all the legal battles unfolding, there's a big chance that it could stop being legal. As Tim says, LOL, Civil War, as he retweets Corey A. DeAngelis, who says the Democratic candidate for Virginia Attorney Generals fantasized about taking the lives of former Republican House Speaker. Yep. Matt Walsh commented about this, saying, if Jay Jones becomes the Attorney General of Virginia, every conservative in the state will know that the chief law enforcement officer thinks that they deserve to be taken out along with their children. They will also know that the Democratic voters in the state, their own neighbors, friends, and even family members have endorsed that sentiment. It will be the death of any sense of legitimacy in the system, the kind of thing that starts civil wars. I'm not saying there will be one. I'm saying it's that kind of thing that starts one. Cassandra McDonald. I used to think people who talked about there being a second civil war were insane. I don't think that anymore. Yeah. And again, a lot of this revolves around turning down the rhetoric, which has not happened. Again, this meme here. Pretty explosive. Charlie Kirk warned about assassination culture and he says how it's spreading for the left. He talked about how liberals are becoming more and more open to the idea of justified assassinations on political figures, which is crazy, right? The celebration of Luigi Mangione, the attempted assassination attempts on Donald Trump, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's creating a frenzy, which is going to prompt a right-wing response. Now, a lot of people are saying the right wing isn't responding hard enough. We need more of an authoritarian response here. How do you respond to that? What do you think? Is there a case for this or is there not a case for this? Let me know down in the comment section below, as obviously we're entering very trying times, to say the least, and I think it's only going to get more trying from here and more difficult in order to, of course, deal with. Now, thank you so much for getting a t-shirt. Thank you so much for supporting independent media. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/weare.